Okay, radio fans, let's go over the Murch Ultimate Transmatch, which is covered under a U.S. patent, 7 million something. You can look at it up on Google. All the information out there you'll find on this is wrong. Wrong schematics on the BAM archive. No explanation of how it works that is correct. This is how it works. This is the A model. It came with this rinky-dink inductor between this capacitor and the main roller inductor, and there's a small inductor here. I think this is what they used to call a butterfly capacitor. The two sections, they were connected separately originally with the input to the shaft. Serious design mistake. They had a brass shaft going all the way through the front panel to the knob. The shaft was hot with RF and dangerous. And it was that way on both. The shafts have been cut down. Couple of brass or couple of nylon spacers from the hardware that were cut to length and drilled through with a 1/4-inch bit and some 1/4-inch fiberglass rod. There's my hand there, and nice spaces and knobs away so the screws can't scratch your front panel. Real nice. Need to put some aluminum foil or something over those holes for a little bit more shielding, but this was a serious RF leakage. Okay, we got the deadly shock hazards out of the way. And note the front end and the works on the inductor, that's all grounded. So this is a T-network, and the T-network is this half of the input capacitor in series with this output capacitor, RF pass-through, and the inductor shunted to ground. There are two general types of network, the pi and the T. Advantages and disadvantages. The T tends to be a high pass topology. High frequencies, inductors open, capacitors become less reactive, so higher frequencies tend to go through to the output. However, the big advantage when dealing with power is that there's extreme DC isolation. If there's a breakdown in the transmitter or amplifier that puts DC on the output jack into here, it's not going to get through that capacitor or past that shunt to ground or through that capacitor. So there's a tremendous DC safety isolation between in and out. The pi network is just the opposite on all those points. That leads to shock hazards. Okay, the patent for this unit falsely states that somehow vaguely that split capacitor somehow gives it a better range. That's false. The range is made by increasing the values of all these components for the minimum and maximum frequencies. What it means by range is that it uses a big roller inductor, which means it's not limited to just certain bands, and that's an increase in range. So the big question is, what is this shunt section? Apparently 200 picofarad and 200 picofarad. Why was that shunted? Well, that capacitor is not part of the T-network. Why is it there? Well, back in the old days of rigs like this classic Drake TR3, and this Drake TR3 had this problem. The transmitters would not load on the bottom of 80 meters. The load capacitor would be fully meshed in the transmitter and it still wouldn't reach. Needed more capacitance. So to compensate, that's why they put this error variable on the input. This error variable is not part of this matching network, it's part of the transmitter. In the Drake, this was due to a fault, which was low drive to the final stage. And that's mainly caused by lack of alignment of the VFO output transformer. On 80 in that rig, the VFO is the only low-level source. It doesn't have the crystal mixed in, and it's missing one section of 6 EA8 RF amplifier. So the RF output of the local is weak on 80, and if that transformer is just a touch out of alignment, the drive falls and it won't load. And that's why that capacitor is there. These days, especially with a solid-state transmitter or amplifier, that's a thing of the past. So this thing was rewired to put both those capacitors in parallel, which will increase the range. That makes this a 400 picofarad instead of two 200 sections. And as to the rest of it, this inductor is not part of the T network either. Why is it there? Well, that inductor, if you do the circuit analysis and see my network videos here on how to calculate this, that inductor was in series with that capacitor, which reduces the reactance of that capacitor. So that was put there to compensate for some imbalance between these two sections. For some reason, they wanted this to be a lower reactance. So no need for this, take it out. This is left in because it's a nice flat wide jumper with a small inductance in between. So that's how the circuit worked. Front panel, identical to original. The differences inside are, we start with the antenna or the transmitter or amplifier input. If we follow circuit analysis, the capacitor has reactance. There'll be voltage drop across the capacitor. So we put the incoming from the amplifier or transmitter into the rotor because it has less mass and less surface area to couple stray fields. The voltage here will be lower on the stator frames. And the stator frames are insulated above ground with nylon hardware. And be sure to use countersunk hardware here so the cabinet will go over. So since this is close to ground with some sharp edges here, I made the stators to be the output side with lower voltage, so less chance of arcing. The coil that was across here, you just replaced the jumper wire. And notice to get the full 400 picofarad, there's a jumper wire across these two stator terminals. If you just want the original 200, you can omit this jumper. The front end of the roller inductor is all grounded because it's not practical to have that hot. See, if this is a pi network and these capacitor shafts through the front are made cold in a pi configuration, then the inductor becomes hot on both ends. That won't work. So that's why this needs to be kept in a T configuration. So the energy comes in this end of the drum. This shaft does not go all the way through the core. It reads continuity because it's reading through the coil and through this mechanism. So this end of the coil is the hot end here. And all this this frame up here and this shaft, this is all ground. So less stray field. And I put an extra chassis ground here. This comes from the front of the roller inductor assembly. There's a flat brass plate up there that I don't know if you can see it here, but it's right back in there. Whoops. A little more light on the subject. You can see that brass down below the brass screw that's through the aluminum wire. There's a brass plate that contacts a brass standoff against the front of the ceramic assembly, and that's ground for the this end of the inductor, and all its mechanism up here is grounded. So that lower shaft going back here has an additional ground back here just because. A little extra doesn't hurt, because another design flaw is that this assembly here was originally grounded through these spacers. Let's get the light back here so you can see. Okay, see the aluminum spacers going through the front panel. That's originally the ground. That goes to the counter mechanism, not to the chassis, so that's a bad ground. So, serious design screw-ups on this thing. The flat conductor and that brass spring, the flat conductor goes to the output capacitor. The RF goes in series to this capacitor to here, out to the antenna jack. And we do not use random length wires anymore. This is a solid state era. Solid state electronics won't put up with all that RF in the shack. But this is a very bad design here. This tends to rub and grind off aluminum particles. There's a recess in here that looks like it should have had a bearing ball in it. So when I get time, I'm going to find some more flat brass material like this and put a bearing ball in there and make that a ball contact. So that's basically it. So a little bit of work, but it will modernize, update, and correct some serious design flaws in this unit. And remember, when these capacitor shafts are hot and sticking through the front panel, all it takes is a crack in that knob to shock the living dickens out of you, because if that plastic's cracked, high voltage just loves to follow cracks. So don't get hurt or dead. At a minimum, replace these brass shafts with the plastic and the fiberglass. And you can buy shaft adapters online for that. So there's the Murch redone. KBYP did it.